Al-Tariq. I seek refuge in God from Satan, the rejected. Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, by the sky and Al-Tariq. Do you know what Al-Tariq is? The bright star. Absolutely. Everyone is well guarded. Let the human reflect on his creation. He was created from ejected liquid from between the spine and the viscera. He is certainly able to resurrect him. So, the name of this chapter or this surah is Al Tariq, meaning the bright star. Um, and when God says by the sky and Al Tariq, meaning God is swearing upon a reality that is known to us. It's a fact, it's real. When we make a testimony or swear upon something, it's like for a fact you cannot deny. Like our faith is based upon, believing in the unseen, which includes the angels, the hereafter, which we don't know yet. We haven't seen it. God Himself. Believe in God, believe in the unseen. And when God swears upon something, God is talking about by the sky. We can see the sky. It's a reality. Can we deny? So, upon the existence of something so profound, it's like an assuring, you know, um, statement. And there are many things where God says, by the dawn. Dawn is an amazing thing. By the sky. We have this ceiling upon us, light blue sky. And if it wasn't there, we might see this like dark hole or something. But God has made this beautiful, perfect bubble for us, right? And we see the beautiful sky and it pleases the eyes. And then God is saying, by the sky, as this sky is so real and amazing and awesome, God is making this statement. And Al Tariq, a bright star. Now God says, do you know what Al Tariq is? It's the bright star. Absolutely. I don't know about actually which bright star God is talking about. Maybe we can discuss later with other submitter fellows, but something very prominent, or it could be any star. All the star. Look at the sun. Sun is a star. It's very bright as well, and the brightness is so amazing that it gives us daylight, and all the existence depends upon it. If the sun is gone away for certain time, many things can happen. Like we depend on this sunlight for growing crops and trees and everything, and human body needs it. you know so the bright star, who created the bright star, who created the sky? So God is talking about swearing upon his own creations, which we actually can see and acknowledge with our eyes, And then absolutely everyone is guarded, is well guarded. Let the human reflect on his creation. What does God mean by absolutely everyone is well guarded? Meaning, this life, nobody's living randomly, like we just have. As a fact, we all have guards around us. So nothing could happen to us before something is meant by God. Otherwise, if everything's existence depended upon randomness, there would be chaos on earth. So we live a life which is already predetermined, has a lifespan. Our time of birth and time of death is precisely calculated. Is Nobody can stop it, and nobody can, move it 5 minutes ahead. So we are well guarded until our predetermined time comes. For if a human being is not supposed to get in an accident, or not supposed to stumble and fall, over a rock or something, the guards will remove those things, those invisible guards. So every human being, every creature is well guarded and going through this test of life because we have a predetermined lifespan. So nothing can happen to us prematurely. It's all planned. Then verse 5, let the human reflect on his creation. He was created from ejected liquid from between the spine and the viscera. So we are always looking for proofs, which are, people are looking for miracles or to believe in God. They need to see something awesome, like in previous time when we read the Quran, we read verses where when messengers would come and then people would say, how come he's not, you know, doesn't have angels escorting him, or he's not walking on the water, or he can fly or something, things like that, ridiculous. So they can believe that there is some supernatural entity behind this person and he's delivering a message of, our creator, a supreme power. We really don't need that. God challenges us. He says, let the human reflect on his creation. Let's look inside us. How marvelous this machinery is. How how did this perfect creation, God created this amazing creature called humans from what? From between the spine and the viscera, like deep internal organs. And it's from an ejected liquid. Like we all know, like how this, a baby is born or made from a tiny, tiny drop. And then from that, a perfect creation with 10 fingers, 2 eyes, a spine, bones, hearing, the eyesight, the brain, the heart. Heart, which is an amazing organ, which runs without a battery as long as we live. It supplies this blood to all of our organs, and it just continuously works day and night as long as we live. What is the mechanics behind it? Who's doing it? You just look at the heart and believe that there is a force behind all this creation. Do we need more proofs? Let's just think about our own creation. Can we reflect and believe in God? Why it is so hard to believe in God? Forget about everything else. Look at our own creation and we will see this is the most sophisticated machinery one can ever imagine. Nobody can create anything like that, just a human being, let alone the sky and the sun and the bright star and other stars, galaxies and oceans and creatures in the ocean, deep ocean. Let's start from ourselves. Nothing else to look for. Don't look far, just within. Just think about our lungs and our heart and our you know the entire system, every cell. He is certainly able to resurrect him. So that is another profound question, that the belief in the hereafter is very hard for people to grasp. Oh, who knows what happens after that? How can we come back? What is resurrection? Once we're gone, we're gone. This is our only life. How could we be resurrected? There is no hereafter. Belief in the hereafter is something distinguishes a believer from a non-believer, because the reason for our existence is going passing this test of life. We are here for a very short period of time, and then after we die, our real life starts. So the people those people who are wishy-washy, are not really paying attention towards the hereafter or coming back to life, meaning that they will be held accountable, is kind of, there is no certainty. Only those who are certain about resurrection, they are the one who are aware of God and his qualities, and that his ability to resurrect everybody. Like he created us from what? When we were nothing, from a tiny little drop of semen, right? So God says, like, is it hard for me to bring you back to life? You were nothings a while ago. Whatever our age is, like, let's say 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years ago, we were nothing. We were non existent. And then suddenly our existence happened. Oh, here I am. I'm someone, But some time ago, we were nowhere. Where were we? So, just like that, if God created us and our soul, he will not be able to resurrect us, out of question. He's able to do anything. The day all secrets become known, he will have no power nor a helper. By the sky that returns the water, by the earth that cracks to grow plants. This is a serious narration, not to be taken lightly. So, once again, the day all secrets become known. We are living a life, there is a lot of things people don't know, or we have our own secrets and everything, But after this world is gone and the hereafter starts, or the day of judgment starts, then everything will be in the open. There will be, God talks about having a vision as sharp or as solid as steel. That's how the clarity of everything will become open. So all the secrets become known. The reality will be presented, and people will have no doubt about anything anymore. He will have no power nor a helper. Then the human beings are helpless on that day. Right now we do have one power. We have power to believe in God, to believe his messengers and his message, and live a righteous life. Choose God or choose Satan. We have that power. Nothing else is in our control. Like God says, everyone is well guarded. Our every movement is allowed by God. Our lifespan is not in our hands. Oh, I live such a healthy life, and I eat always organic food, and I do exercise, and I've never smoked and never done this. I can live a long life. But if it is not permitted by God, the person can die in a young age. So we have no power over anything. On that day, then we won't even have that. The decision is done. We chose a path, and the consequences will take us where we belong, either in a good place or eternal hell. It's a heaven or hell. It's like day and night, where you want to be. So we still have that power to decide for ourselves, choose everything carefully with mindfulness that our actions are going to be held accountable. And then once again, God is saying, by the sky. God said in the beginning, the first verse 1, God says, by the sky in Altaric. Here God says, by the sky that returns the water. Imagine what a system God has created. The the evaporation happens from earth, goes up in the air. God and his angels there, God talks about how his angels gather these clouds, and it rains where it is meant to be. It doesn't rain randomly either. Everything is precisely by God's design. How much rain will happen in certain areas, and what areas will be deprived of rain for a certain time. All is in his plan. Everything is planned. So God is swearing upon that, or it's a declaration of the fact. This is a fact. We see that how this awesome system is created, that sky that returns the water. First, it gathers up there, then it returns it back to us for our sustenance, for our plants to grow. By the earth that cracks, subhanallah, earth cracks, and from that, all kinds of plants and our food and amazing, fruits and vegetables and trees come out. It cracks. And if there is no water, everything will get dry. There will be nothing. Every creation has water, needs water. This is a serious narration, not to be taken lightly. They plot and scheme, but so do I. Just respite the disbelievers is short respite. God talks about his message, and all this is being revealed to us is a serious narration. Of course, what could be more serious than a word to word from God Almighty? Can we not take it serious? Can we afford not to pay attention to it? Can we just disregard it and like do lip service and move on? We cannot. God is giving statement after statements about factual things where we can see and reflect that there is a creator behind it. It's all about God's existence and his marvelous system and his creations to make us believe. Look inside human beings, look inside yourself and reflect. So, all of this, then nothing should be taken for granted or lightly. We have to reflect that who we are and where we have to go. And we have to live our life accordingly to God's message. Otherwise, it's going to be wasted. The soul will never grow because we didn't take it seriously and we did not take any heed by it. We spend our life heedless, wasted it. And then they plot and scheme. And God talks about disbelievers, or those who are evil and wicked people. They're always, they're influenced by Satan, and they're always plotting and scheming against the believers to hurt those who believe. You know what God says? God says, but so do I. Can you imagine? The wicked people are always thinking they can deceive others, right? But in fact, they're deceiving themselves. So if they are plotting and scheming, they think, obviously they don't believe existence of God in their heart, right? Because God says, I'm always near listening. Says that if you're two people, I'm the third one. So there is never a moment where God is not present. We're not being recorded. Everything is being recorded, and everything will be presented on the day of judgment, what we did wrong, where did we go wrong, and where did we go right actually. So all will be presented. So there is no confusion. Oh, this is what made my soul grow. And this is what made my soul actually regress. Um, so God says, just respite the disbelievers, a short respite. It's like a little break is given to them. Okay, come on. Just do whatever you want to do. Play with your own choice. You're making a choice today. So you have this short window. Eventually, everybody dies, right? Nobody lives forever. Not even the most powerful human being could ever live past his certain age, which was predetermined. Look at the pharaohs. You know, they built formidable castles, like structures. They thought their life is eternal here. They will come back, but no. Their mummified bodies are here for proof to see. Look, they were given a lot of knowledge and wealth, but now here they are in the museums, like people looking over them, how powerful. They thought they were gods, but they also had that short respite. So that ends the surah, um, mashallah, and we go to the next chapter 87, the Most High, Al-Ala. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High. He creates and shapes, He designs and guides. He produces the pasture, then turns it into light hay. We will recite to you, do not forget. Everything is in accordance with God's will. He knows what is declared and what is hidden. It's the name of the chapter is the Most High, Al-Allah. So all of those who do their contact prayer must know that when we prostrate and we are in our lowest position, our face is right on the ground. At that time, we in our prostration we recite Subhana Rabbi al-Ala. That means the glory be to the Most High. That is, we proclaim and we declare at that time, and we are on the lowest position. Our face is absolutely on the ground. And on the ground, we make this declaration that, my Lord, you're the Most High, and glory be to you. So we do that every single day. That God says, glorify the name of your Lord, the Most High. The highest level of reverence and respect is all belongs to God. So we must glorify and appreciate and reflect on the awesomeness of God and His creations and everything, and His powers. He is the absolute God, and He holds all the power and all the sovereignty over everything. He creates and shapes, He designs and guides. Subhanallah. These are, He, look at each and every single creation of God and look at their designs and the shape. God paid attention to everything, from the tiny little plant to any creation, whether it's in the deep ocean or in the air or on the ground. Just look at one flower and just pay attention to the shape of the flower, the colors, shades, perfection, delicacy. You know, who is behind those designs? He has created everything and shaped it and designed it. And then he guides it. God gives each and every creation its guidance. It's scientific. The dog and the cow do not have the same guidance. The guidance and the design is exactly for specifically for that creation, and they do not deviate from their guidance. If the dog's role is to perform certain tasks, we will do that. It's in their nature to protect, guard their owners, love them. But another creature wouldn't do that, right? So they're all specific. Each and every creation has its own guidance, its own design, which is very unique from other creation or other creatures. Same thing, human being is one of a kind. And if human beings don't have guidance from God, they will be just stumbling upon. They will be living a life without any guidance. Although God gave us a free will to do whatever they want to do, choose whatever they want to do, and a highly developed and highly sophisticated brain, which can think, reflect, decide. These creatures are given very specific design, and they do not deviate from that design. They do not have that free will to choose. But we do. He produces the pasture, then turns it into light hay. We will recite to you, do not forget. Everything is in accordance with God's will. He knows what is declared and what is hidden. He produces the pasture, and then turns it into light hay. Everything, when that perishes, you see all the substance. If you take a piece of fruit, an apple, there is a pasture, you can feel something. It is full of juice. You take a bite, there is flavor in it, and then you throw it away. It rots and eventually turns into like light hay. That's how our bodies will be one day. Nothing will be there except some bones, right? Trees are vibrant and standing on their branches, beautiful, producing fruits. You cut them after a certain time, it will be like, it will be decayed and turned into light hay. That's how the whole allegory of this life is. Eventually this is going to happen. We will recite to you, do not forget. Everything is in accordance with God's will, we know. He knows what is declared and what is hidden. We will direct you to the easiest path. So everything is in accordance with God's will. There is another verse in Quran where God says, whether you chop a tree or leave it standing, it's in accordance with God's will. Meaning, for example, you decide one day, like, I'm going to take this axe and I'm going to chop a tree and whatever for the wood. But you go there and you start thinking, oh no, I don't know, maybe I should or I shouldn't. Whatever the decision you make that day was already decided by God. So you did nothing. So anything we do in this life, if God doesn't allow us, we would not be able to do it. So it is already in accordance with God's will. The only thing we have is the free will to choose God. With our own free will, we decide to live a righteous life without anybody's force, without any compulsion. we decide to take a path. That path of righteousness is in our hands. Or we take a path of the dark side, the evil side, That is what we have. The wealth, where we live, how long we live, how many kids we have, what job we will have. It's all in accordance with God's will. So we have no control over anything. Then God says, we will direct you to the easiest path. Therefore, you shall remind. Perhaps the reminder will benefit. So if we decide to live a righteous life, God will make it easy for us. He will direct you to the easiest path. God will take away all the problems, all the difficulties, all the hurdles. You decide to be with God. Why wouldn't God make your life so easy? Because with God, you're in His protection. So the perfect health, wealth, happiness, everything starts from here. Because you're in God's kingdom where things will be easy, not hard. But we have to go through our tests to prove a God's worshiper under all circumstances. So God will test our claims. We cannot say I'm a submitter and that's it. Now it's all good and dandy. No, it wouldn't be. We have to prove our worth. And it's worth it because imagine the life in the hereafter is permanent. So we must strive to prove to God that, yes, I will be a proven worshiper of you, my Lord, under all circumstances. So God talks about you shall remind. Perhaps the reminder will benefit. We can remind, only we can do a reminder to our loved ones, people close to us, people we care about. If we're certain about God, we invite people and remind them of the day of judgment and remind them about God and living a righteous life. Because that's what every human being should be choosing with their own free will. It might help somebody, you never know. The reverent will take heed, the wicked will avoid it. That is a fact. Those who do not have large egos, they will listen, they're open, but the wicked will avoid it. They don't want to hear. They would put fingers in their ears. What are you talking about? Oh, is there life after death? There is God. Even they say there is God and God is, is the creator and all that, but they're not following God's path. So that's all lip service. The world is full of those people. When you talk about worshiping God alone, suddenly you see things changing on their faces. What do you mean by that? What about the idols? Consequently, he will suffer the great hellfire, wherein he never dies nor stays alive. As we all know, the eternity of hell or heaven is permanent. Is there. It's eternal. So if somebody goes to hellfire, God forbid, people will wish they were dead. There will be no life and there will be no death. The life is when you feel thriving and feeling good things and you feel lively. It will not be there. Even though it will be, people will be, neither they would be able to die or stay alive. It's like just nothing but misery. It's a really scary thought. Successful indeed is the one who redeems his soul by remembering the name of his Lord and observing the contact prayer salat. Definitely God says, indeed those who are able to redeem their souls, they seek redemption from God for all the sins we committed in this life and in our original life during the great feud when we could not uphold God's absolute authority and were not certain about it. We committed a horrendous crime and we were exiled from that beautiful life because we were unappreciative. But now it is our only chance to redeem our soul ask forgiveness from God for our original sin, and then what we, if any kind of idol worship we committed here knowingly or unknowingly. So we constantly seek to redeem our soul so we can go back to that blissful paradise, inshallah. And God says, by remembering the name of His Lord, it's important that we remember God in all of our actions, mindfulness about God and living a righteous life, and remembering Him, thanking Him, starting anything by the name of God, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, before eating, before sleeping, when we wake up, and of course, observing the contact prayers, which is the most important part of our life, God's gift, 5 times a day, that we ask for guidance and protection. So thank God for those gifts that we, at least we are, we are supposed to be doing it, and we never miss it, inshallah. And on top of that, we should always remember, always be thanking God for the tiniest things to the every beautiful provision we got. Indeed, you are preoccupied with this first life, even though the hereafter is far better and everlasting. This is recorded in the earlier teachings, the teachings of Abraham and Moses. This is a fact. God says, indeed, you're preoccupied with this life. This life is, although God calls it an illusion, because it's not real. Real life we cannot even imagine. When soul will be living in its pure form and an eternal life, this is a very, very short interim break. And we must denounce our original, the mistake we made, and denounce any claim Satan made, and uphold God's absolute authority, and follow His path. And God says, even though the hereafter is far better and everlasting, we really don't care. A lot of people don't care about the hereafter. God says it is far better and everlasting. We're only stuck in this life, which is so short. We don't even know when our next moment could be the last moment. For that, we do so much. We strive to do everything to live a luxurious life. We don't strive for a permanent life and its luxury it has to offer. We cannot even imagine. And God says, even though the hereafter is far better and everlasting, like really, what kind of deal we are making here? And this is recorded in the earlier teachings, the teachings of Abraham and Moses. So it's the same story. It's God has informed people time after time. It's recorded in the previous books of God, the Old Testaments, the Bible, and now in the Quran. The Abraham, it's coming from the time of Abraham, and then Moses continued, Jesus and Muhammad. They all brought same message. And subhanAllah, the total verses of this surah are exactly 19. And as we all know, that 19 is the signature of Creator. And the name of the surah is the Most High. Praise be to God, Lord of the universe. I end my study right here and open it for any questions and comments. Assalamu alaikum.
MashaAllah, sister. Praise God for a really good teacher.
MashaAllah. Thank you. Praise be to God. MashaAllah. Very good explanation. Thank you, God. Praise God.
Yeah, mashallah. The surah name is the name of like God. Is it? It ends at 19 verses, just like Surah Rahman, Surah King. And this is a very, very same way, like you explain, mashallah, and you prostrate, you say, Subhana Rabbi Allah. And this is, I guess, the closer you can get to God during prostration, inshallah. Inshallah, we'll just say a few things about this surah, Surah 87. As we like Shaitan Rajim. I mean, again and again, time after time, God is reminding us the purpose of our life, to ponder upon the things around us, that this is not an accident. Like in verse number 2, God says He creates and shapes, He designs and guides. I mean, look at God's creation, every creature in the world. You look at from insects, uh, the birds, the animals, the sea creatures, all these things are being fed, and their nutrition is provided, their safety is guarded. It's not a chaos going on, otherwise all the creatures would have died. uh, every creature has its food. Look at the deer, like the animals in the jungle. When their baby is born, uh, minutes after their birth, they start walking. They were just in the belly of their mother. And look at our human baby. It can't even move when it's born. It needs full proper care. But a deer baby will get up and start running, because if it was, and look at the lion baby. When it's born, it's almost like a human baby. It needs full care. A female lion will take its cubs to different places, and even hiding from its own, other animals, the group it hangs out with, until the babies are a certain size. Then it will introduce the babies to the herd, the rest of the lions. I mean, imagine if the deers were like that, their babies were to be taken care of, they would have died, because they will not survive. They need to be get up and running and start be acting and be, I mean, what if there's another carnivore nearby, and they will become food. I mean, how God designed that? I mean, nobody, would have think of that. I mean, if anyone thinks that this is evolution, by the time evolution will learn that, okay, if evolution is a system, maybe it's running by itself. It's like a test and trial and learning and all this process. It's improving itself. Then by the time it will learn that, okay, we need to make a deer in a way, because a lion is going to eat it, and we're going to lose all the deer. So we need to have the deer baby get up and start running. So what's changing is we're going to do. There's a whole plan that evolution has to set up. How are we going to create this baby that's going to get up right away? I mean, evolution. Do you think evolution is something thinking? And even though if they think that evolution is doing it, by the time they will teach the deer to do that, they would have been wiped off the planet Earth. All the deers would have, all these prey animals would have gone. I mean, they have to come into this world with complete package, like a penguins. You think that they can survive in Arctic? By the time their body will learn, they would have gone. Polar bear, they have a solid skin around it. I mean, you cannot go and live in the Arctic without anything and think that your body is going to grow. By the time that will not even happen. You will die way before that. This thing that comes into this world, it's pre-planned. It's all designed to live in where they're going to live. The sea creatures in the deep in the ocean, they get their nutrition. They don't even see the sunlight, but they have. This is a clear sign there's a supreme power that is controlling everything. It's not a random act at what's going on in this world. Everything is running precisely by God's system, and nothing, no random going on. I mean, the oxygen level, the water cycle, and everything. God is again and again and again and again reminding people that think about it. And how long are you going to live in this world? It's extremely short. I mean, it's just completely fool to even think that that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna be this, and I'm gonna be that. I mean, we don't even know what's gonna happen tomorrow, or even the next hour, even whether I will be surviving or not. So, thank you.
Yeah, it seems the life, uh, sometimes it seems it's very short, but sometimes it seems it's very long. It's weird that the way God Almighty created the life, how its illusion is short, but because of the, I think, the tests, or because of the something that it seems long. And that's why I think majority of the human race thinks that okay, this is it. We are, of course, their souls are wicked. They don't. They decide not to get the message. They decide to reject the message sent by God Almighty. So that's why, of course, they deserve it. That's why they are so preoccupied with this short, in this short life, and they think that this is it. This is everything. And there is one verse by here, the verse Surah 86, uh, verse 11 and 12. By the sky that returns the water, by the earth that cracks to grow plants. So I think maybe we already have discussed this, but again, this verse is so awesome. Subhanallah, that water has no color, earth is like light brown or whatever color, but just look at the when the plants grows, how many different colors, how many different tastes, how many different designs. Human being cannot even count those designs, those fruits, vegetables, colors, beauties. Subhanallah. So just if we think about this creation, that water doesn't come in red or blue or yellow or green colors, but the plants grow in different colors. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. That is the greatness of God. That is the beauty of God Almighty, which we see all around us. If we want to see, if human being want to see, then we will see God everywhere. His beauty is everywhere. Mashallah.
Yeah, look at the when you buy a television, it not normally has three or four colors: green, yellow, or I think some of like these. And then, but when you look at the like TV, you will see so many different colors, especially when you look at those cartoons. I mean, they have like millions of color just in one screen, and how these three elements will mix with each other and make all these different kind of colors. How God designed that. I mean, just out of three or four colors, and you have like millions of different shades and colors, and subhanallah. And then, and these TVs are like nowadays I see. I mean, I'm just so amazed that this is 4K, 8K TVs, and you see all this defined color, but then we don't see the other side. Here it's something is projecting this high definition image, but that image has to capture, otherwise that is no use. And the other side is your eyes. That has I think somewhere like 500 something, 600 pixels in your each eye, that have cones and colors, and they absorb all these different colors, then process them, through a nerve that carries the message in the back of your brain, and then the back of your brain gets into work and process all that information. And not to mention the image that's coming in is upside down, and it's processes. It takes a lot of processing, and then it feeds to your conscious brain. This is what you're seeing. I mean, just when you think about the vision system, it just blows people's mind. And you look at the disbeliever who's disbelieved in God, and you would think that God has given you eyes, like the messenger of the covenant saying that the eyes are such a blessing. If somebody comes to you 5 times prayer, order your eyes. And definitely you will say 5 times prayers, of course. You know, my eyes are a little bit, I cannot see far, I'm a nearsighted. So far this, I have to wear glasses. And many times people say, why don't you do your laser? I say, I'm so afraid to go to the laser. But if something goes wrong, eyes are such a huge blessing. I would rather wear glasses. I mean, I don't even want to risk it. I mean, even I know the risk is very small, but this is a huge blessing of God that we can see all these different colors. We don't see black and white. There's some animals, they just see black and white, or they don't see a lot of colors. There are people, they're color blinded. All they see is black and white. I mean, that's something to be glorified God. So when you see a disbeliever who doesn't appreciate God, and he has 2 eyes, and you say God has given you eyes. I mean, God is not short of eyes. Look at the dragonfly has a 30,000 lenses in each eye. That's 60,000 lenses in just that tiny creature. I mean, can you pack that many lenses in such a tiny space? And God did it by who? Just a small cell. You know, he read the injected liquid, and God created a human being. Similarly, these dragonflies, they are created from a single cell, and the single cell evolved by by God's leave into this beautiful creature who flies and has a 30,000 lenses in each eye, and these lenses are not just sitting there; they're connected to his brain. And they have did a test how fast a dragonfly look at the object and react. So there was a dragonfly sitting, so they flew a little seed over its body, and they captured it. Like those lenses, they have like 25 like thousand frames per second, so they can slow it down to see what the reaction. And so here you can see the seeds is coming, and it's slowed down that you can clearly see the seed just moving very, very slowly. And you can look, and this, you can see the dragonfly, one of the eye or something looks at the seed and instantly decides, because it has so many lenses, it can clearly see if it's a bug or it's just something that useless, and decides, and it's something else, and just goes about his business, doesn't even look at it. And how beautifully this dragonfly flies through the narrow places and up and down, and instantly change direction. Such a tiny brain that, I mean, this is to glorify God. How awesome God is, you know. MashaAllah. Thank you.
فبأي آلاء ربكما تكذبان سبحان الله.
Yeah, imagine, they shoot a 3D movie, right? They have to put so many lenses and so many cameras, but not as many as an eye of a fly. What kind of 3D level, or what kind of, how many dimensions would that fly must be able to see? We cannot imagine, right? So you need, like, I don't know, like 40 something cameras for a 3D or something. Uh, I don't know the exact number, but obviously more cameras than a normal film, right? To bring that effect, to it can, see the whole, uh, you know, other movies are 2 dimension, and then this is 3 dimension. The how many dimensions would those lens produce of an object? Look at the eye of an eagle, who sees something from miles, like so many feet high in the air, and come directly to that prey, a fish they can see, or a bird, and then just come with so much speed. Their eyes are so very special as well. And owls, their eyes are very amazing. They don't move from side to side. Their head has to spin. So 320 degrees, they can look around them, you know. So each and every eye has its guidance from God. It's designed so precise and so beautiful according to the nature, the survival of that significant creature, you know. And they're because all the other creatures do perform two things only, you know, reproduction and survival. But human being does so much more, you know. They, like God says, they plan and they scheme and they plot. Other creatures do just that for survival, but the human beings could plot and scheme to hurt others, to manipulate, you know, to spread evil and destruction. If only we were living according to the true nature of human being, which should have been pure, you know, just like these animals. Their soul never gets polluted. It follows the designs and sticks to it. This free will has given us such a big scope. That is why if human beings make it, they will do, who live a righteous life and they believe in God alone and develop their soul, will be able to go to the high heaven. We know that all these creatures are definitely destined for, they will make it to lower heaven. But we have a chance. With this free will, we can either really become the worst of the worst, like worse than where a fly would end up, or a snake, or whatever, the tiniest little creature. Or we can be in the high heaven with our own free will choosing. I believed, we can say, I believed in the hereafter and the unseen. And this is what God appreciates, that you were put to the test to believe in all of this without seeing. And you chose with your own free will to come to me. You chose to submit in front of my authority, kill your ego. And these creatures have no ego, zero ego. The ego is what takes us away from God, and we think, oh, I am something, you know. It's like, did I design myself? What is me? Nothing of mine belongs to me. It came from somewhere. So that ego needs to be removed in order to let in God's light in our hearts, and we just need to relax and trust in God. It's the easiest path, actually. It's not a difficult path. The difficult path is day and night thinking and following your ego, where it takes you to experiment life. And most of us have experimented life that way. And it only hurts. When we submit to God, He takes over our burdens, because we say, wait, I have no power to harm myself or benefit myself. I only submit to you, my Lord. Only you can look after me. That is the easiest path. But we choose and we go after the difficult path. Let me experiment. Let me see what I can do, right? So,
Yeah, mashallah, God says that I have given you eyes, brains, and ears. Yeah, this is a reason to use logic and to understand what am I doing here. You know, we grow up and then we know that we're gonna have to, you know, in 20s I'm gonna have to be going to, you know, I gotta get my school done and get my job and I can work, and then we or start thinking about what a retirement 401k plan I'm gonna have, and I get old. All these things are, you know, we think, which is good, but we think about the ultimate reason I'm here. This is not the reason we are here. And as you said that, what did I do? Like, did I create myself? Just think about, you know, even sometimes you have a tiny cut on your finger, and for like 2-3 days until it closes, it when you wash your hand, it burns. And imagine we can't even close that thing. I mean, even you can put a suture on it, unless your skin binds with each other. If it doesn't do that, and if it leaves open, and you will continuously burning for the rest of your life. I mean, such a simple step. I mean, forget about creating something that even breaks just a little bit. If we can't even control that part, I mean, how uh, we have no power in anything, and just a small thing will make our life miserable. You know, and then how much we have to appreciate God that every day we live and He blesses us with you know, no pain. You know, every time we hit with a pain, and that's when we should realize that how many days I have lived without any pain, and how much I need to be appreciating God that every day that we live without pain is a blessing. I mean, we need to see how many people suffer in this world with pain, and then we need to appreciate God for His blessings. Mashallah. Thank you. I was just the a couple of weeks ago. I was driving out of the town and to see a patient, and it's about in a small community, and you go from the like country road, and so there was a hearse driving next to me, and I'm like, I don't know, you know, hearse is like that carries a dead body, and they died. So I didn't know where I was going. So we're just driving, and you know, there's not that many traffic in out of town areas. So we're driving next to each other. Basically, we ended up in the same hospital. We walked out at the same time. We walked in the hospital at the same time. He was walking right next to me, dragging that black cart. And I'm like, I'm coming here to see someone, and he's coming here to pick up dead body. What a difference that is. I mean, this is what life is. Someday I'm going to be living like that. I picked up my body with somebody else. This is the hardcore reality. There's nothing hidden in it. MashaAllah. Thank you.
That is the reason people, even the disbelievers, they even don't want to hear the name of death. Whenever you mention death, they just feel like something very, very horrible thing they just saw. Their face so terrified. Oh no, 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 don't take death name, don't take death name. So they are so scared of death. So they are really, really very, whatever life, miserable or with hardship or with good and bad and with stress and depression, they still want to live here forever.
Yeah, the minute you talk about death or which is the reality, you know, they will become so scared. They want to change the topic, and they will say, "Why are you scaring me?" I mean, they come to realize this is the reality. This is what's going to happen. We need to make sure we are ready. I mean, imagine if you are doing a stunt or something that, you know, there's a risk involved, where you can get hurt, right? So you're gonna read every possible information that you can get from all the experienced people that you're not making any mistake. Like for example, you know those guys, they jump off with a car and then they land. And suppose if you were to do that and take the car and on the ramp and then fly through some of the cars and land on the other side, you're gonna precisely calculate everything, the wind direction, the speed of your car, how powerful your car is. You're not gonna leave any stone unturned because you know there's something can go wrong, and you're gonna practice it before even you get on that. And when it comes to the real life, such an important purpose that what if this book is from God? You know, would I not leave any stone unturned to check every possible? What if this book is from God? And what if I'm ignoring it? What if I'm living my life the way I wanted to live? And what if there's a day of judgment? What if I have to stand before God? What if all these things are true? What if the idols they've been telling us that to they are associating with God? What if they have no power? All these what ifs, do you have answers for those? But we just blindly, human being blindly believe on those. But when it comes to this real life, you're gonna check every possibility to not make any mistake. But when it comes to your whole life, the whole purpose of this world, you're just, oh, I believe on what they do. Oh, that's and that. Mashallah. Thank you.
Okay, if there are no more comments, Solomon around?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum. Okay, so we're gonna. Is Solomon able to close the broadcast now? Hello?
I think he's not there.
I don't think so. He's not there. He left us alone.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay then.
Okay,
Allah
Assalamu
Hafiz.
alaikum.
Allah
Hafiz.
Hafiz.
Okay, anybody else with any comments or questions? If not, then God willing, we can end the study. Our next study will be on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And God willing, our teacher will be Ali. Assalamu alaikum.